All right, let's take a look at some of these items associated with the least squares regression line. Identify and interpret, and this is mostly what they are interested in. From the detail we saw in the last little video, we are looking at a least squares regression line. This was the residual plot. I didn't really care for that pattern that we saw, but let's go with it. All right, so 0.76, that was our correlation. And it came from the square root of 0.58 and checking to make sure that it was positive. In other words, you look at the scatter plot and see that the dots are going up. As x gets larger, y is getting larger. But it shows a strong positive or moderate positive. So one of the two, so probably I would say moderate at this point. A moderate positive, and the detail is as microRNAs go up, the length of the concussion goes up. So just make sure you include the context so they understand that you understand what positive. Don't just say strong positive or moderate positive. All right, let's see what else we got. We got negative 6.6. This was our y-intercept. So on the y-intercept, we got this negative. It was hanging at the end of that. Oh, here it is. Silly me, I'm not even looking up here. I was missing this part. Here's our slope. There's our y-intercept, and that's the coefficient of determination that got square rooted to get this correlation. This negative 6.6 is our y-intercept, and if there were no microRNAs, we would predict a negative time of 6.6 days for a concussion. Well, that doesn't really make any sense. That is what we call extrapolating. It was on here. That was extrapolating. It's not realistic in the context, and a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times the y-intercept is kind of out of the context of this, so that one doesn't really make any sense. The slope looks like this is our slope, and I like this. I'm taking the slope that we have here, putting it over 1, so we can see the for every additional, x, for every additional microRNA in your bloodstream, you're going to have a 0.0258 longer concussion time period. Well, all I did was move the decimal place up here and down here to get this new value for every 10 microRNAs. And then again I moved it, and I got it to where it was contextually making sense. And so in this case, I finally felt like it came out to something for every additional 100 microRNAs. We predict the concussion will last about 2.5 more days. Okay, so when we look over here and see the measurement system for the microRNAs, that one makes the most sense contextually. The other ones are valid, but this one just made sense in terms of context. And then finally, there's this 0.58 that was called the coefficient of determination, and it basically says the percent of changes in y that can be explained by the changes in x. So 58% of the length of concussion changes can be explained by changes or variations in the microRNAs. It's not saying that it causes it, but just that they're related in some way.